The key there is, like we were talking about earlier, the motivations of a man, right? The ambitions. What is driving that person? Are they doing it for themselves, because they just want to get ahead, like you saying, cussing out somebody in the gym, just because you want to get a spark in energy. I want to go back to your dad and your mom, just like, and connecting them back to the whole story. Your dad, yeah, that's a messed up situation. But the issue with your dad is his pride too. Is you know how embarrassing that situation is for him, and that's the key. Your dad's gonna be super embarrassed for one. He's gonna be super, resentful for whatever situation and everything. Especially you as his son. And as a man and everything. And I can talk in his shoes as somebody who's going through that right now. Especially you as his son, and him knowing that he just got kicked out of the country. He's now looking like I can't even breathe, and then this woman, she was probably the devil to him. And that's unfortunate because he probably felt like he had to do everything for himself at that point in time. And there's only one answer to that. And that is him. That is the Father, that is God, that is Jesus. And that is the problem with us as men. And I think that's why we're having faith society right now, is because somebody like your dad probably, at that time was like the last thing he was thinking about was praying. The last thing he was thinking about was, maybe he should go to church, man, get on his knees or something like that, because that sounds so ritualistic. It sounds so fabricated, almost religious, that you're like, man, I ain't doing none of that. I got to take care of myself right now. I got to get back on my grind. I just got kicked out the country. Man, I get my bread up, man. Ain't no woman ever going to do this to me, all this, that, and that, and this chatter, because he's got to repair himself instead of going to the one who can, supply him all of his needs, man.
Oh,
And
100%. Yeah.
and just to end that with that right there is saying is that, yeah, your dad definitely holds accountability to that for sure. But I would say is the thing that's going to keep you from doing it 20 years. And let's fast forward, because now you're your dad, right? You're your dad. You're Jose Hernandez, and now you're the father.
A
You
full
trusted
government
in
name.
him. You trust in the Lord. You don't think about, oh, there's no book outside of, his living breath, bro, that is going to be able to ever help you recover. You as a man, you go out, you do your life and everything, no matter what happens, no matter what happens out there and everything. Your firm foundation where you are right now, stay with your faith, man. And that's for
Yeah.
me, that's for all the brothers that's listening, ladies that's listening too. You have a firm foundation in him. He's a solid rock, and he is not immovable.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Not, and like you said, like, I think that's why we created this space, really, right? It's not about, in, like I mentioned in episode one, like, I'm not preaching, I'm not a pastor, like, that's not what I'm here for. But I definitely think it's an area where we live in a society today where you go on Instagram. You sent me something earlier. You go on Instagram, Twitter, and see negativity, and people will discuss it. It won't even be something that needs to be discussed, but people will have a conversation in the comments about it, just just to converse. And
Exactly.
and I think we can do that with the Bible too. Like, I don't think I I have to be all knowing when it comes to this. And I mentioned that, like, I'm still learning, right? Like, this is like my study, like my Bible study. And I hope this is somebody,
Amen.
this,
Amen.
like, this is somebody else's Bible study as well. Like, they listen to us and they have those same, they can resonate with it the same way we resonate with it, or it plants a seed to them somewhere else to be like, this is how it resonates with me. And it might not be the same situation. It might, obviously, right, we all don't have the same situations, but I definitely think that this is a safe place where we can have positive talks about even bad situations, right? And see them in the light of how I think people can heal, where we can heal. Like you mentioned, we're in a healing process while we film this. Like, we're still not where we want to be. It's still a process. We're still on that journey, but I think it's
Hey,
dope.
listen, man. Listen. I'm still on my mom's couch, man. I'm
Yeah,
happy about. Listen, I'm happy about it, I'm not ashamed. I have nothing to hide. But you know what I mean, like that. That's my situation. I placed myself in that situation because, listen, we're still becoming. Ain't nobody gotta hide anything here. You know what I mean? So yeah.
yeah, no, definitely. And you know, before we wrap up, I think that that's perfect. It's like you're saying, like, this is what I want to ask the people who are going to listen to this and yourself, like, what part of this story do you think reflects the most to you? Like, which part of Jacob's story do you resonates with you the most?
Laban. Laban, because as a man, I realized something is that I can't do anything in this world alone. And I'm not using Laban as a situation of anything that Jacob was involved in. But what I want to talk about is Laban as a man, somebody who has resources, somebody who is older, somebody who is has something that you want, right? So in Jacob's situation, he wanted the wife, he wanted his daughter. But let's talk about somebody being in a business perspective or having that job offer, right? And everything. And there's a humility there and there's a dealing. And when you get in those situations, let's talk about karma again. Now, you want to place yourself, you want to start small seeds and plant small seeds. Because remember, Jacob was a bad hill catcher, man, and he was planting bad seeds. So by the time the opportunity came, he reaped what he sowed, man. And when he got in the face with somebody who maybe even they were a scoundrel or something like that, or maybe he could have avoided Rachel. We don't know all those situations. But what I do know is this is that if he would have, like you said earlier, you said when I was playing basketball, I was building up for the flesh instead of for what I felt for the spirit. If a man could truly build up what he felt for the spirit and put that in the seeds, maybe he doesn't have to worry about what it looks like in the future. Maybe he can recall scriptures such as Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for, goodness and pleasure throughout your entire life. You know what I mean? The righteousness, those who never forsake my righteous hand shall never know of any drought. Their leaves shall remain green at all times. Even when the fire comes in the storm, they will always be blossoming and blooming because they are sitting at my right hand. When you become somebody who starts building a spirit up like that, you don't the future can kind of just happen. Jacob's prayer, yea, through I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for your rod and your staff are with me. They comfort me. You lead me beside still waters. You know what I mean? In the presence of my enemy, my head is anointed with oil, fam. These are sayings of a man who was chased by his own ruler. Saul was coming after David's life, and he's writing these prayers in caves, bro, hiding out. He's like, no matter what, Lord, I know who you've called me out to be. I know what's going on because he had the faith. And I just leave that with you guys as we close for sure. And